So this first big dump of snow this season has left Calgary roads a mess with cars and trucks and, as we just heard, buses slipping and sliding all over the place. So you might be regretting waiting if you haven't got your winter tires on yet. Or maybe you have all-weather tires and those are working out for you just fine. So we went to the experts to get a bit of a lesson on tires and which ones make a real difference in the snow and ice. Joining us now is Matt Carpenter, automotive service instructor at SAIT. He's with us in studio right now. So when people think about all the different choices out there, I mean, can you explain what the benefit is to winter tires?
It's like when you put your shoes on in the morning, you want to be able to go out and walk and not fall on your hiney. Mm-hmm. So the big trick is to be able to go through and take every step and have good traction to be able to start, stop, turn. All those same things have to happen in your car. So as the weather gets colder, rubber compounds get harder, you get worse traction. As the weather gets icier, it gets slipperier, so you need tires to accommodate that. So your summer tires are definitely not going to suffice anymore because they're only designed for summer.
So it comes down to the kind of rubber, for one, that's different for winter tires, I guess?
Yeah, for winter tires, it's a lot of focus on rubber compound as well as the style of cuts that are in your tires.
Right.
If you think of grabbing onto ice as like a little knife digging into the ice, it helps you kind of move forward. So car manufacturers or tire manufacturers, they'll cut sipes into the tires.
Yeah.
Those little sipes are like little knife edges that as the rubber bends, they're going to grab onto that ice and they're going to give you that traction that you need. Something that's, say, an all-weather tire will have fewer sipes and a little bit harder of compound, so not give you quite as much traction. And then an all-season is really just going to get you on those fringe types of seasons for the fall and the spring, not necessarily made for the winter at all.
Yeah, so when you hear that term all season, that may not necessarily be the best choice, living in Calgary especially.
Living in Calgary is the big trick, right?
Yeah.
You know, all season maybe in Kansas, right. but in this part of the world, I think we're 3 season.
Yeah, we are not in Kansas anymore, that's for sure. So when we look specifically at winter tires though, Matt, are they all created the same or some better than others?
Just like everything in life, some are better than others. You know, a lot of the big name manufacturers, your Firestones, Bridgestones, Goodyears, Toyos, Yokohamas, those types of manufacturers, they're putting a lot of research into development into their tires. They're putting a lot of energy into making sure they're selling good quality winter tires. When you get the off-brand, you get the off-brand. Mm-hmm. You never really know what you're getting. You could end up with vibrations. Maybe they're going to wear out sooner. You have less consistency. However, you're saving about 50 cents on the dollar. So it kind of makes it worthwhile. And I will divulge, I buy cheap tires.
Okay.
Right? Because I can't afford expensive ones.
That's
so
interesting.
It is what it is.
That is very interesting. You touched on cost there, and certainly there is a cost to switching out your all seasons for your winters every year. And it's also kind of a pain, I think, for a lot of people. Is it worth it?
You know, I think these days with a lot of the people being able to work from home, if you have that advantage and you have the 2 or 3 days a year, like today, like this morning, that were horrible getting to work, that's a great work from home day, right? And in a situation like that, perhaps all weather, all season tires will get you through the year, no problem. Somebody like me, who I'm on the highway a lot, I put on about 600 to 700 kilometers per week. Wow. I need good tires, I need good traction, and my poor students are relying on me at SAIT. I have to be there for them.
You've got to be there, sure. I'm sure there are some folks that put the winters on and then they think, you know what, I'm just going to leave these on. What do you think about that? What do you think about leaving them on all year?
Well, they're softer rubber, so when the weather gets warm, that rubber just melts to the pavement. You will get okay traction, but the rubber almost becomes too gooey, too soft, and you actually end up with worse traction, and you're going to wear out your tires really quickly. Mm-hmm. Winter tires in the summer, not ideal.
Yeah, okay. And so then what about all weathers? Do you think it's a better choice? Is it more economical than doing winter tires?
Well, like I say, if you can manage to give yourself the time and drive appropriately, it really is about driving and the driving ability. Give yourself the time, give yourself the space. An all-weather tire should be sufficient for a lot of people in Calgary in order to get around and do what you need to do. However, those mornings like today, those winter tires, they're worth their weight in gold. They really are.
For sure. So people should look for the Three Peak Mountain snowflake symbol, right? I mean, tell us how that plays into all of this.
Yeah, you bet. So that Three Peak Mountain, that kind of snow mountain that you see on the side of the tire, that's minimum requirements in a lot of provinces for what they call winter tires or snow-rated tires. So that becomes your minimum requirement as an all-weather tire. So even in Quebec and BC where they say you need them, it is just the all-weather tires that's a minimum requirement. The winter tire is that next step better for winter traction and winter availability.
Yeah.
So all weather is kind of, it's okay at getting where you need to go. Winter tire will be better.
It will be better, sure. And then, of course, there are studded tires, or even, people use chains. Is that something we need here in Alberta?
I don't know if you need. I know a lot of people use them. A lot of people are doing them. Now, first of all, I would recommend, unless you have some training, maybe steer away from chains.
Okay.
Chains can do a lot of damage, and they're difficult to put on. So I can't see that happening a lot. As far as studs go, you hear them going down the roads when the roads are nice and clean and dry and all the clicking and tacking. If you put a bunch of metal on the bottom of your shoe and you walked on concrete or asphalt, you're going to slip. You don't get very good traction. So studs are excellent when it's ice. Mm-hmm. And only when it's ice. As soon as the ice melts, the studs have a lot less value.
Yeah, very, very niche. In
Exactly,
terms of when
exactly.
Ice makes sense.
But there are situations and people who get in those situations more often than not. Maybe it's a worthwhile endeavor.
Right, fair enough. We're just about out of time, Matt, but anything else you want to mention in terms of just being prepared for winter driving?
Yeah, I can't emphasize enough the human part of this. We are in charge of our vehicles. We're the operators of our vehicles. They're thousands of pounds, and we're hurling them down the roads at hundreds of kilometers an hour. It's ridiculously dangerous. Give yourself time. Make sure you can stop. Have patience, right? Everybody is slipping. Everybody's sliding. Smile, nod, wave, sing some songs, tap on your steering wheel, and enjoy the drive. Don't get wound up, because that's what causes accidents and crashes.
Right.